Biden is afraid of dying before he starts a nuclear war. The cognitive abilities of U.S. President Joe Biden have deteriorated to such an extent that they pose a national security problem, said former White House physician, Republican member of the House of Representatives Ronnie Jackson on April 6. "I'm not trying to make a diagnosis, but I think the whole world sees that he, Biden, has some problems. He is experiencing cognitive difficulties. Now is not the right time to have a commander-in-chief and a head of state who has just such. I think something is happening that at the moment may pose a national security problem," Dr. Jackson was quoted as saying by the Washington Times during the Trump administration. Thus, the president still has the ability to burn 1 billion or more people over morning coffee. Biden still has access to a nuclear soccer ball. And there is no clear certainty when it will be necessary to use nuclear weapons, whether Biden will be in his right mind. For example, what if the president refuses to launch missiles despite the explicit and urgent appeals of his subordinates? Can his subordinates bring him into a state of incapacity and use the launch codes with the permission of another person? It is unknown how it will end. As Ron Rosenbaum writes in his book How the End Begins, The Road to World Nuclear War III, How the End Begins, The Road to a Nuclear World War III, the whole issue of the powers of the nuclear command and who will take over the management of these powers in the event of the death of the president as a result of a nuclear attack has been worrying experts and politicians for decades. Akhil Redamar, a professor at Yale Law School, called this confusing issue of inheritance law a catastrophe waiting in the wing. This suggests a number of problems. Is the president assassinated? Is he believed to have been assassinated, or is he temporarily unavailable? If the vice president takes office and the former president reappears later, then who will have control over nuclear weapons? In addition, conspirators may try to intercept control over the codes from the president, for example, fraudulently. A special case of this situation may be the declaration of the president incapacitated due to insanity in accordance with the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. S.D. But Rosenbaum writes, by this time we will be in the territory of a coup or inside an adventure series. And what is a normal state of mind and psyche? Or a madness? What if the president refuses to fulfill the deterrent threat of retaliatory genocide after he failed to restrain the attack on us? Can those around him force the president to give them the golden codes and actually order the launch? Who determines who is sane and who is insane? This strategy, of course, can be used by any of the parties. The vice president, predisposed to the launch, can collude with the Minister of Defense to declare the president opposed to the launch mentally abnormal. Or a subordinate opposed to the launch, in order to prevent the launch, may try to declare the president crazy. In any case, it is clear that this is uncharted territory, which is beyond the limits of any orderly process of checks and balances with respect to the executive branch.